something to kind of keep an eye on. I do like that. You know, I think you could go with that. The one thing to kind of keep an eye on this one is going to be obviously the liquidity, to make sure that, you know, you're not getting stuck doing anything a little bit randy. Hey, Richie, how you doing? What are you watching today? Henrik, what are you watching? Good, good, good. Good morning, sports fans. What's going on in the hood? All right, let's get our chat room people in here. Sherman, what's going on? Edu, did I say your name right? Shit, what's going on? Aaron B, how you doing? Ah, man, pleasure to see everybody as always. Man, what a market we are in. What a time to be alive. Bitcoin success, how you doing? All day, Ore, how you doing? Mr. Brad Young, what's going on? Good, 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 good. Zaman in the house. Eric, how you doing? Mr. D'Amato, the stock Tupac. I like that. Good. Let's take a look and see what we got going on some of these bad boys. Henrik, you got ALT also. Okay, let's do that. RHT, VKTX. Dun, 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 dun. And I got Kron over here. Okay. Your list is all right. So, guys, let's take a look at the overall market, and we'll figure out where we're going to go with this thing. Good morning, everybody. Hey, from Dublin. Good to see you. Always good to see my people from Ireland. All right. So, we've got a trend line break happening in the market. We've got really a lot of heat going on right now. So, the problem with today is going to be you've got a big gap up day, right? So when you get a big gap up day, what you guys got to be thinking is the range on the market is going to be sucked out, right? So the range of the market's being sucked out. So we've got to make sure that we're not chasing the gaps today, and we've got to really hit this. So the QQQ's up like over 1.5 points. I hate big gap up days. You know, that's going to always be, I think, the trickiest day. But there is a lot of strength in the market. So we're breaking out of this trend line. The key's going to be at the open, not to chase it. So I'll wait for a pullback in the markets to happen before I add in, and then we'll get this thing going. The same thing's happening on the SPY. We've got a flag pattern over here that we're really busting out over. So we're already a point out of kind of the long-term flag pattern in the SPY. That's going to be really kind of tricky. So this is really bullish for the market long term. Just short term at the open, we'll have to be careful not to chase the market. So let it pull back. You start to see that gap fill. That's when you want to start to kind of come in and load in the positions and all that kind of fun stuff that you guys do. What you guys watching? Send me your tickers too. Send me your tickers. So now let's take a look at the watch list. So a couple gappers out today that I particularly like. We got MLHR that's really rolling in hot. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, right? So you've got 3 tests of resistance that's looking pretty good right now. 52 million share float. That's not so bad. LCI, okay, we'll take a look at these. NBEV, good, good, good. All right, so let's take a look at some of these once I get done with these. So I got this alt on my watch list, guys. So one thing with alt that's going to happen, it was up 285% yesterday, which is wild. A big portion of that is because it had the reverse split. So it had a 1-to-30 reverse split on it. And usually sometimes those reverse split stocks can just go wild, right? So this thing is opening up weak today. I probably 95% won't play this, but if it goes red to green today, I might try this for kind of a day 2 play, but only if it goes red to green, and I would probably be trading this like quarter size what I would do a normal stock, because the liquidity will be a little bit less because of the reverse split. So just something to kind of keep in mind of. It's a B-level setup. We got this red hat. There's not very many gappers today. You're right, Johnny. This red hat, 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. So you're breaking down that trend line this morning. You see, it looks like it's happening on earnings. So we may have some range in this bad boy. So that's going to be just something to really keep in mind of. So you got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests coming down out of this bad boy. I'm going to keep this on watch list for a short, right? So watch this 134 area pre-market. If you bust below, watch for that ORB pattern, right? So 1 test. That ORB is going to be just a hot one for you guys. I would go in and try to look at a quick pullback buy or something like that on that bad boy. Let me see. I saw a lot of you guys in the webinar yesterday, which was awesome. Always good to see everybody in. Let's take a look at our general watch list. I know a lot of everybody kind of wants to know about the pot stocks today. My guess is on TLRY, this thing gets faded off. That's just going to be a huge nature of kind of what we're doing on this. You're already seeing a range right now, like 250 to 212. That's a $40 range right there. I'm thinking no. Like, I'm thinking that's not going to be... I don't know. For me, that's a no-go at this point. When you get something that dumps like this from 300 to 150, that's a 50% drop in like 20 minutes, right? On heavy volume too. So when stuff like that's happening, it's just too wild to control. So at that moment, what you want to be doing is probably leaving this thing alone. I would not be surprised to see this bad boy. I wouldn't be surprised to see this bad boy go in and go red on the day. So that's going to be just something that we, really got to keep an eye on, when we're thinking about this stuff, man. I'd leave this alone. We got CGC over here too. Man, this thing's kind of fading off over here. No go, right? So this thing was a tricky trader yesterday too. One of the things that happens with CGC that I think you guys got to keep an eye on is like, it's been trading like shit for days, right? It's been trading like shit for days. Hold on here. So it's been trading like shit. So you saw this big dump yesterday. Man, I kind of leave this thing alone for now and just go with some of the easier ones. So like, there's NBEV over here. This one's fading off a little bit, but probably, it's just a lot cheaper. So you may start to see like some movement in some of the riskier names, and then they're going to go into like kind of the cheaper names, right? So NBEV and some of these other ones you might see people pile into, but frankly, even this is like a day 1, day 2, day 3 already. Once you're on a day 3, to me, that's all the easy money's been over, right? So I'm kind of leaving these things alone. I got this PCRX on watch. It's got a flat top breakout over here. That's just going to be, we got first day out of the breakout, up 7%. Decent volume, decent liquidity. I keep this on watch for potentially today. There's a lot of news coming out with China, no China, tariffs, no tariffs. At some point, this range is going to bust loose on IQ. So you can see like how you got a wide range and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Guys, when you think about like pressure, what causes explosion in a particular stock, how you want to do it, compression, the tightness of range is what causes explosion, right? It's what causes momentum. And so we don't know which way this is going to break, but I'm keeping these on my watch list because if it starts to break out over this trend line, you've got a long-term kind of coil pattern that's been happening in this one and in Huya. They all look really similar where, you may just bust loose out of this thing and you've got really just this tightness that's coming in. So we may bust loose out of this thing and get this party going. Keep these on watch list, but do not take them, personally, unless that trend line breaks. Because unless that trend line breaks, they're just going to be stuck like right in the middle of the range, which is no good, right? We don't want to be in the middle of the range. That's the penis in between us, right? We got to be either out of the range or on support, either way. QTT still watching this one. Man, I've taken a couple trades in this for like some quick shreds, and then it just comes all the way back down. I give up my profits on it. It's not an easy trader, So I would still, as long as this 9 holds, you want to just start to see if it starts to trend and then really watch the volume on it too. Kevin Bratworth, what's going on? Let me check out this CVSI in a second. PDD did hold its support yesterday, so now it's just a matter of kind of breaking out of this trend line. Watch to see if this thing starts to build, right? Is it making higher highs? Is it making higher lows? And then from there, we'll get this thing going. Overall, it looks pretty solid. You know, if it tests down the support and holds, you know, I may even take a few of this for a swing trade. We got Octa too. So I got Octa with a nice, easy rounding pattern here at the 9 EMA. It's starting to hold. So if it breaks this trend line here, I think that the Octa gets back to go. Its intraday range is pretty good. We're right at that sweet spot. You can see this thing will move like a few dollars in a little bit of time. Roku, a lot of people ask about Roku. Roku looks okay. You know, it's holding over the 9 right now. If it comes out of that trend line, it's going to be good. The one good thing with Roku is like when the market's really running hot, then Roku moves aggressively with the market. So you can use Roku as a proxy for tech. But one thing to remember is that tech right now is showing relative weakness versus the Dow Jones and some of the other ones. Like you can see like tech has just been weak, right? The last few days where, you know, you're seeing like on the Dow Jones old grandpa stocks, you're starting to see like a really, really kind of dichotomy, a switch, right? So what that is a sector rotation that's coming out of this bad boy. NIO looks pretty good too. So you're starting to see a little bit of a gap on this thing. Look at this. This is where you kind of want to draw. So when you think about trading, right, we always want to be thinking about like multiple time frames, right? Say I like something on the daily. Well, how do I align it for like a proper entry? Well, what we want to do is always look at different time frames to figure out where the levels are. So if you look at like say a 15-minute chart or a 30-minute chart, what do you start to see on NIO, right? 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, 5 tests. Now we're going to be go, right? 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, 5 tests of resistance on a 30-minute chart, right? So this thing is going to be go. This might go right out of the gate at the open. So we're really liking this one. Man, it's heating up already. So don't chase this thing at the open. This is probably my favorite play for today, as long as this breakout holds. But don't chase it at the open. Remember that this thing has come back a long way, so you can let the pattern form, right? Let it pop. Then we want a sideways consolidation or a pullback to that 9 EMA, and then you can take it. You can take a go at this thing, all right? And then look, if we need shorts, if the market rolls over, what I'm going to do on this thing is go potentially green to red on this thing. That's going to be huge, right? You can see right now the old lows was 46.50, right? 46.50 on the lows. That's pretty good. If this thing, it opened up green, right? So if this thing fades back red, takes out that 46.50, then we're going to have really, we're going to have some extra downside to go. Look at its daily chart here. If it doesn't hold this range, right, you're talking about a real trickle effect on what it could actually do to get this thing going to the downside. I like this one a lot if the market starts to fall over. Denny, you know you can. You're always welcome in my house, buddy. Always welcome in my house. Kevin, how you doing, man? QTT, TLRY. Well, not yet. You should have woke up before I had class. Shit, I'm in class now. Give me an hour or so.
We'll have to just do it tomorrow.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. MU. You know what? MU does look okay, but it's just got a weird look to it. This is not my particular cup of tea, so I just I'm staying away from it. I think it had its earnings out or something like that, but overall it's going to be good. Guys, keep an eye on that NIO today. A lot of plays in the market. Let's go be good. Let's be safe, right? Trade, but minimize your risk. That's always the key to the game. Guys, if you're having fun with these YouTube lives, give me a thumbs up on these bad boys. It really helps me get the word out. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tell all your friends about me. We're trying to build a rock-solid community of awesome traders. And by the way, guys, we had this webinar, right? You know, we had an awesome webinar yesterday on pot stocks. You know, you guys definitely are welcome to kind of come back in this bad boy and, you know, come back in and kind of hang out and do what we got to do. So let's go in and let's go have some fun, all right, peoples?